Welcome, Image Design Critique 2, Dream Board Collages. Today we are just going to do a quick critique. I know we did critique 1 on Monday, and so for Tuesday we're just going to go ahead and do critique 2. Since you are already in the practice and know exactly what you're doing, it should be a lot easier. We're going to just look at the Utah Visual Arts Standards really quick that were covered by this assignment. We'll review elements and principles of design, elect a winner, and defend your election by writing a 4-step critique. So just to go over real quick the Utah Visual Arts Standards, there are 4 strands. Strand 1 is to create. This is where students conceptualize, generate, develop, and organize artistic ideas and work. They will complete and refine media artworks. And then Standard 3, consolidate production processes to determine deliberate choices in organizing and integrating content and stylistic conventions in media arts productions, demonstrating understanding of associated principles. And I think you all did an excellent job of this. Great work. Strand 2, present. Students will analyze, interpret, refine, and select artistic work for presentation. They will convey meaning in the manner in which the art is presented. Standard 6, evaluate and implement improvements in presenting media artworks, considering personal and local impacts, such as the benefit of self and others. Strand 3 is respond. Students will understand, evaluate, and articulate how works of art convey meaning for the observer as well as the creator. Standard 3, analyze the intent, meanings, and reception of a variety of media artworks, focusing on personal and cultural contexts. And then Strand 4, connect. Students will relate artistic skills, ideas, and work with personal meaning and external context. Standard 1, access, evaluate, and integrate personal and external resources to inform the creation of original media artworks. Quick review of the elements of art. Remember, they are lines, shapes, space, value, texture, color, and form. You can pause this at any time if you'd like to read about those, but we've talked about them a little bit. And if you were looking at this dream board, what elements of design do you see? Do you see line? I definitely see line. These are lines right here. These little arms hugging, and these little facial features are lines. We see a line back here, composite score 1, score 35. We see lines that make the word happy. We see lines, a circular line. We see an A+ made of lines. So there are lots of lines. I also notice the way that lines direct the eye in this space, like the linear motion of the fingers going upward and these arms going outward, the tongue downward, these arms out. All of these lines help to direct the eye around the canvas. Shape, yes, we've got a circle here. We do have a little bit of shape. Space. This space is pretty much full, but we do notice there is some negative space here in the background, which is fun. Looks a little bit like confetti. And value. We definitely have lots of values, and we can see some transparency happening where we're able to see through layers into the layers underneath, and that has a lot to do with value. Definitely some texture in here and lots of color. And form, 3-dimensional forms are very prevalent. This cute little doggy sticking out its tongue is a 3-dimensional form. This car is a form. Everything that's 3-dimensional is form. Next, let's review the principles of design. Pattern, a regular arrangement of alternated or repeated elements. We don't have a lot of repetition in here. I mean, we do have some repeated elements of like the text being kind of similar here. Contrast, the juxtaposition of different elements of design. For example, rough versus smooth, dark versus light, in order to highlight their differences and or create visual interest or a focal point. And we're definitely seeing this here. Lots of contrast. Well done. That allows it so that things that are supposed to pop, like this cute little, these fingers hugging, the love aspect definitely pops. The money pops because of that darker background. So it's that contrast that helps things to stand out. Emphasis, special attention or importance given to one part of a work of art. For example, a dark shape in a light composition. Emphasis can be achieved through placement, contrast, color, size, repetition. Relates to a focal point. Can you find a focal point in here? Where's the emphasis for you? Where does your eye go to first? What's the very first thing that you notice when you look at this image? That is how the artist used emphasis, to get your eye there. What elements did the artist use to create emphasis? I guess it just depends on, when you look at this, what you think the actual focal point is. There may be several focal points. Balance. A feeling of balance results when the elements of design are arranged symmetrically or asymmetrically to create the impression of equality in weight or importance. So we're talking about visual weight. I feel a lot of visual balance in this. It's definitely not what we would consider symmetrical, right? When we think of symmetry, we think that both sides have to be exactly the same. But what about visual weight? Which side feels heavier and why? Do darker, more solid colors feel heavier than lighter, transparent colors? If so, then this side over here definitely feels a little more weighted, but that is offset over here by this solid puppy up at the top sticking its tongue out at us. Proportion or scale. The relationship between objects with respect to size, number, and so on, including the relation between parts of a whole. Well, we can see that obviously these fingers are a lot bigger than this car. So we've got some interesting play on scale and proportion in here, and that adds to the visual interest. Harmony. The arrangement of elements to give the viewer the feeling that all of the parts of the piece forms a coherent whole. You might also call this unity. Rhythm, movement. The use of recurring elements to direct the movement of the eye through the artwork. There are 5 kinds of rhythm: random, regular, alternating, progressive, and flowing. The way the elements are organized to lead the eye to the focal area. Movement can be directed, for example, along edges and by means of shape and color. And I was talking about the use of line earlier with these arms lifted up or the fingers pointing in a direction. Those lines help to, and here's the line around the edge of a paper and the tongue coming down. Those lines in the circle, they help to direct our eye around the artwork, and they do a really good job here of not taking our eye off the page. Nice work. So remember what a critique is not. It's not value words like ugly or pretty. And it's not whether you like or don't like something. It's actually a critical thinking process designed to help the artist improve their practice. So the description is when we describe the medium. The medium is like, are we painting? Are we doing a collage? Yes, we're doing a collage. But this is not a collage made of actual paper. This is a collage done digitally, made of digital images and the text tool in a program called GIMP. Those are the types of things that you would say in your description. And the subject matter is a dream board. So the subject matter could be things like a nice Lamborghini car, love. Those things are the subject matter that you'll want to discuss in your description. Number 2 is the analysis. So this is where you're talking about how those elements and principles were used, and you need to use your specific vocabulary. You would say things like, the artist has used lines to direct the eye in a nice circular rhythm around the artwork, not leading the eye off the page. That would be a great analysis. Interpretation, what's the meaning? The meaning is that the artist is dreaming about their future success. Specific test scores, A's, specific cars, and things that they are dreaming of and that motivate and inspire them to be successful. Number 4, the evaluation. Was the artist successful? So you can start this off by saying the artist was successful at using the elements and principles of a design to inspire me. I would love to hang this poster on my wall, and I have similar ambitions. The artist successfully created a balanced and unified design. Those are the types of things that you would say in your evaluation. Remember in your critiques to use vocabulary. So remember the slides will be open. You can come back and use vocabulary right from these slides. All right, so you are going to elect a winner, and you're going to defend your election by writing a 4-step critique about the artwork, just like you did in our first critique. So ready, set, critique. Now, I said the slides are open, and what I should have really said is you can fast forward, pause, rewind this video as much as you need to in order to do your critique.
Спутник.
to make sure you know that I will be in the classroom this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, 11:30 to 12:30 this week only, so that you can get some help from me. Is it mandatory? Is it required? No. Check your email for that link to get into my classroom, and I won't be here next week. So if you're needing help, make sure that you get it.